Dani, the winemaker, owner, family. Um, you are fairly famous for your Cabernet and your pinotage, I guess. But we talked about it just a minute ago, and I have the impression you're particularly proud of your Cabernet, and you're working on a Cabernet project in Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
Explain that project a little bit more. It sounds very interesting.
So I'm a member of the Stellenbosch Cabernet Collective. So we're 28 members, I think now. It started 3-4 years ago. Christo Lariche from Lariche Wines is kind of heading the whole thing up, and all the big names, or not, Canon Corp, Simon Sich, Risten Vrede, Glen Ellie, they're all part of it. And the idea behind the collective is to showcase Stellenbosch Carbonate and to say, this is what we do really well, and kind of speak as one voice, not always as one producer, but rather as a region, say this is what's good from our region.
So a way to find a common identifier to talk to the world about Stellenbosch? Or?
Correct, yeah. So I think the South African industry comes from a place where everyone's got everything. On this farm we've got 21 varietals. My father was wanting to experiment and try new things and so on, and I think our generation will now take what we have and say, right, this works really well, this doesn't work so well, so that must come out. So for example here, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blancs, my feeling is on this site it's too warm for those varietals. Okay. But Cab and Pinotage and Chenin work really well. So to focus rather on those and kick out what doesn't work. And Cab works really well in Stellenbosch.
Do you think Cabernet from Stellenbosch is different from Cabernet from other places, or what kind of specificities would you have in Cabernet from Stellenbosch?
I think the soils and the regions is diverse. So we have smaller sub-regions. We're now in Bottleray here, but you've got the Simonsberg, you've got the Helderberg, you've got Stellenbosch Kloof, Stellenbosch Mountain. So these are the smaller wards, and the wines are very different between Bottleray and Helderberg, for example. But one thing is universal. We have granitic soils, pretty much, most of us anyway, and that's really good for the varietal. And then it's interesting as an area to have, Helderberg's probably more tightly wound tannins, wines that can really age very well, where Bottleray is slightly warmer, more northwestern orientation, so better or longer afternoon sunlight, which then creates maybe riper tannins.
So, talking about another grape variety that I have the impression you're very fond of, the pinotage. Pinotage is a grape variety that is maybe struggling a little bit on the international market with not excellent reputation. But why are you so fond of pinotage then?
Well, it's our own. It's proudly South African. It's a varietal which Professor Perold created at Stellenbosch many years ago. 1925 he created it. 1953 it was planted for the first time just here down the road. So it's something that is our own. And as far as the reputation goes, it's a wonderful grape. People just don't get enough opportunity to taste it.
Is it difficult to grow and make wine from?
I think that maybe like Pinot Noir, which is its parent, one of its father, it's very site specific or terroir driven. So I think like any grape, you plant it outside where it wants to be, it doesn't make the best wines. I think Pinotage does really well here in Stellenbosch, or Bottleray specifically. If you look at the producers in this area, you've got Canoncorp, Lavenier, Simonsberg, Beierskloof, all in one kind of 5-kilometer radius, and they're all really good at making Pinotage. So we try and follow suit, and also try and make a good Pinotage, put a bit of effort and love into the product, and I think the wine's really nice.
So this is kind of a difficult question for anyone to answer, but for you, what are the characteristics of a really good pinotage? How do you like them yourself?
So I'm maybe more old school. I quite like the bigger, fuller style. That's how I was brought up. My father, he made big, rustical, wooded, heavy style pinotages. I think that's also exciting. Is that the more modern approach, or the say younger generation, is looking at making wines that are slightly lighter, lower in alcohol, more fruit driven, less oak. More elegant, more towards the Pinot Noir styles, and that's kind of the more modern or new style, which we're also testing and trying out. I've got a couple of barrels just around the corner, which are my new 2020 lighter style pinotage, which we'll hopefully roll out at the end of the year. But personally, I still like a big pinotage to go with my steak.
Okay. We're standing here in the barrel cellar, as you pointed out, and I'm not sure if you it hears through the microphone onto the video here, but it's bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. So we're just in the middle of the 2020 harvest in February. We're in the end of February.
End of Feb now.
How is the harvest 2020 for you here?
It's good. For a change, we've got a decent harvest. We've had really small crops since 2014. It's been very dry and hot in South Africa for the last 5 years. So this year, I mean, it wasn't extremely hot. I think we got just over 400 mil. So still very little rain, but the rains came at the right time. So looks like we're going to get 6 to 7 ton a hectare, which for us is good. It's a good vintage.
So good
quality looks good too, yeah. It's hard to tell this early. I mean, you can hear stuff still fermenting, but from what the grapes look like and what the juices taste like, I'm very excited now. So
good prospect for 2020. So standing
looking
in
forward to
Kaapzicht with Dani, thank you very much.
no problem. Thanks.